It was almost like a movie. I heard a high-pitched, like, shh type whistle, and I just remember seeing the flames come at me, almost slow motion.
Hey y'all, it's the Crispy Ginger here at the Honey House Entertainment. We're here with Life in Many Colors, and we are going to interview Andrew Royval.
Yeah, so I was burned on June 2nd, 2021. I worked for a company that did bed bug mitigation. We used propane electric heat to heat up houses to 150 degrees. On this day, I was working at a house in Westminster. I had treated the house before, so I set it up the same exact way I'd done before. Mind you, I was doing 5 treatments a week for 5 years, so I'd done hundreds and hundreds of treatments. This one day, the house heated up and a plastic shelf had been compromised from the heat and it fell over. The safety on the heater failed. When it hit the heater and it tipped over, it was supposed to shut off. It didn't shut off. It started a small fire, which set off the smoke detectors and got my attention. Well, when I walked in, because of what we were burning in there and the amount of carbon monoxide, there wasn't enough oxygen for that propane to ignite. I didn't know that. When I walked into the room that was 11 by 12 room, it was a master bedroom. It was in the corner of a house. When I walked in, I brought in oxygen and it ignited immediately around me, a flash fire. It was almost like a movie. I heard a high-pitched, like, shh type whistle, and I just remember seeing the flames come at me, almost slow motion, where it gave me enough time to react, to throw my hands in front of my face, put my head down, and scream. And this blood-curdling scream that my body will never repeat ever again. I hope it never will. I hope I never experience anything as traumatic to hear that scream again. I let this scream out, and I remember the door slamming shut behind me, and I went to go open the door, and I saw the skin on my hands hanging off. And the brain is weird because I didn't realize my whole body was burned. I just thought it was my hands. I went to run out of the building, and I looked down, and I looked at what was left of my shorts, my shirt, and I took them off because I didn't want them to stick to me. I ran to my work truck just in my shorts and my underwear with my hands in front of me. The truck door was open already, thank goodness, because my hands were just so bad. I couldn't touch nothing, hold nothing. They were just hurting so bad. That's where my main focus was, and my brain was, the pain was in my hands. I grabbed my cell phone with my mouth out of my lunchbox, put it on the seat in front of me. I was able to unlock it with my code, with my tongue. I went to go dial 911 with my tongue, and I couldn't do it. I tried. I think I tried like 3 times to do it, and I couldn't get it. Finally, I looked up. And this is where I saw my reflection in the mirror, and I noticed I was missing a lot of the hair and everything on my face, and I was beet red. I mean, I burned that whole, layer of skin off my face, and I knew it was bad. And it was at that point I looked across the street, and I saw a neighbor that was literally an angel. I yelled for help 3 times, and she came over running, didn't hesitate. She grabbed my phone, dialed 911. When she got off the phone with 911, she called my bosses to let them know what was going on. She stayed there with me until I got into the ambulance. And I'd never been able to pay respect to her, but she helped save me that day.
Dang,
that one neighbor.
Hopefully she's watching.
I hope she is too. They live in Westminster. It was a cul-de-sac over there, June 2nd, 2021. All those neighbors sent me a card that they all had signed.
Oh.
And had put gift cards in there. So if any of those neighbors, you guys know who I am, you know where you live. I have not been able to go back to that block. That's been hard for me to go back to that neighborhood. I wanted to go say hi and say thank you, but I can't.
A little more time, maybe.
Yeah, I need a little more time before I can go back to that. But if it wasn't for that neighbor, I don't know what happened to me. And thank God I was the only one on the job that day. None of my coworkers were there because I don't think they were younger than me, and some of them were older than me. I don't think they would have had the strength I had to get through this. So
can you explain to us what it felt like to be on fire?
initially, I didn't realize that my whole body had been burned. My focus was, on my hands in the pain because that's what I saw originally. I wasn't paying attention to my body. Um, the flash fire was so fast, like I literally it just melted everything right off me that fast. But it was the pain that started coming from the ambulance ride and everything that was excruciating. Like I have a buddy that was in a car accident. He burned sitting in the car. He could probably tell you how it felt to feel that burn, but the flash fire, as fast as it was and as hot as it was, I'm glad that it was like that
It's
because
quick.
it was quick. It was fast. It was literally 1 second I had these clothes on, I had skin on, next it was gone. It was like a magic trick, you know? And I'm glad it was that fast, but the pain that came from it, like literally right after she called 911, I remember looking at the house and seeing the faucet over there, and I went turn it on and started running my hands through it because my hands were just burning. It wasn't until I got into the helicopter I realized my whole body was burning, like stinging because the sun was hitting me through that helicopter windows, and it was literally like I was burning right there. And so
Again, yeah.
that pain was enough to keep making me pass out. It was that horrible, that bad. It literally is the worst pain that you will ever go through. And they say it's burns. It is burns. It's a horrible thing. From the burns to the treatment to the tub room, all that is hard. And you know what stinks is a lot of survivors will compare with too. When they graft you, your graft isn't going to hurt. It's the donor site that hurts like heck
Mm-hmm.
and will drive you nuts.
Yeah.
You know, they took skin from my thighs, my chest, my stomach, my butt, like everywhere, even the, underside of my waist right there. Like they take skin from everywhere and those donor sites hurt. And that's a pain I remember because continuing after the burns, I had surgeries to release this and that and had grafts. And I still remember this feeling of those donor sites. I just had one 2 weeks ago right there. You can see it bright red still on my
Oof,
arm
yeah,
where
that
they
is
just
quite
took
one.
from. Yeah.
How many surgeries have you had?
43.
Holy moly.
43 surgeries. And most of them have been reconstructive for my hand, um, release on my armpits. That's what this last one was, a release on my armpits so I can get my reach back. And
Yeah. Who's your doctor? I need to go there. Dang.
Dr.
It's like
Wichter.
you got some good mobility over there. I'm
I love
jealous.
Dr. Wichter. Oh, my hand doctor over at the hospital. Oh man, I can't think of his name right now. He looks, have you ever seen Spider-Man? The first one with Tobey Maguire where he gets the venom in him and he gets like the long hair and starts getting all like this doctor walked in the room looking like that. And that's what he reminded me of. I wanted him to walk in dancing, but like I said, I had some amazing team to help me out because, like I said, I could barely open up a hold a pot can with this hand, and
Yeah.
I've gotten that mobility. This hand's gone through, I think 12 of those surgeries alone were just this hand. Yeah, and the grafting that came from this one, I've had it pinned. I've had it. Um, the worst part is it grafted from my upper groin area. And they always don't tell you. They always tell you when you're growing up as a male what would give you hairy palms. They never tell you skin grafts. Okay, so yeah, I got hair on my hands because of skin grafts. But hey, whatever.
That's awesome.
If all I have to do is trim the hair on my hand for the rest of my life and be alive, I'll take it.
Oh yeah,
You
we'll
know,
take that. Yeah, that's not terrible.
I'll take the silver lining of that one.
Exactly. So you've had skin grafts. Did you ever have to have like balloons and stuff like that too, or no?
No, so I guess when I talk to older survivors, the game has changed.
I know. I was kind of learning.
The game has
It's definitely
changed
changed
when it comes to grafting and it comes to the injury and how they treat it and that kind of stuff. I as to receive CA grafting where they take your skin and send it to Boston and grow it. But I also was a recipient of a spray ReCell. They take a biopsy of your skin, take the skin cells out of it, and spray it onto you. And that's why my face was saved as much as it was. I have scarring if you get close to me, but they literally took the whole top layer of skin off my face, resprayed my skin cells on it, put me in a superhero mask for like 2 weeks, maybe longer. Can't remember, how much you're out of it when you're there.
Yeah, time is weird.
Yeah, then they took it off and I was like, wow, it's me, behind
Wow.
the scabbing, but that's me.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
cool. I've never met anybody that's had that done yet. So I honestly
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
know they were to that point in technology yet. So
That's what I said. I was like, that's
so
pretty
cool.
futuristic. Like,
Yeah.
all right, what else can you do for me,
Yeah, no shit. That's wild. Dang. Is that probably like the one of the cooler like surgeries you think you've had compared,
I don't know. I don't know if any of
Yeah.
them were pretty
Not
cool.
cool, but like,
Yeah, but
like,
it,
because I have like some Integra. Do you have any Integra on you at
no,
all?
no Integra.
So Integra is like a thin film. They cut you, put that in, and then put the skin graft over it. But it's kind of got like a lactic. You can kind of see it's like gooier up there, so it
Yeah.
gives it more of like a stretchy. But it's got great white shark skin cells in it.
Oh wow.
So I'm
No.
like, I always like to brag about that one. I'm like, I'm part shark. It's cool.
Yeah. No. I
Yeah.
never bragged about that. What I thought was very interesting was seeing my body covered in cadaver skin.
Yeah, right. Isn't that
Yeah,
wild?
and I think Sixth Sense. I'm like, I wear dead people. Like,
I wear dead. That's
but
creepy. I
they
like
they
it.
saved me.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you could tell I had a bunch of different people just looking at my back from it, and
yeah,
they don't tell you when you're an organ donor, your skin's an organ.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And because of this, my son, when he went to get his license, yeah, Dad, I want to be an organ donor. My
That's
daughter,
cool.
when she went and got her license, yes, Dad, I want to be an organ donor because that's what saved your life.
Yeah,
So it opens up your eyes, it opens up your heart, it opens up a lot of things to you to see, like, oh wow, there's
yeah.
more to this human body that's than what you think.
Oh,
So
yeah, for sure.
the fact that somebody else's skin helped protect me until they can cover mine is it's nuts.
Yeah, that's
It's
pretty
mind
wild.
blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have to go in for like the debridement where they take the wire brush?
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Tell us about that. How was that experience for you?
That is the worst pain that you can ever experience. They gave you this cocktail. That's what they called it, was a cocktail before I would go into the tub room. And it was Presidex, ketamine, fentanyl, Dilaudid, morphine, and something else. I can't remember.
Yeah.
All right before you go into the tub room, to a point where you're dozing off because you're so lit up on everything they have in you. But the moment they start touching you, you sober up and you start screaming and you know what's going on and you're in pain. And it was, I can't remember how often it was, but every little bit they were giving me more ketamine to a point where they're like, hey, happy thoughts, Drew. You're about to hallucinate. And they would send me a new hallucination.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the ketamine. And I'm talking, I was in a Minecraft looking building partying with the Backstreet Boys. That's the kind of hallucination it
Hey,
was, you
at
know?
least it was the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, at least it was the Backstreet Boys, not
I
the
guess it could have been in
Kardashians.
sync, but
I wish it was in sync. But I'll take Backstreet Boys.
yeah, they used to give me that same cocktail, and it used to give me weird outer body experiences. I'd sit in this cabinet in the corner of the room and just watch them do the whole procedure to me. It was
Oh
wild.
yeah,
I hated it. I begged them to not give me the drugs anymore because I hated the feeling of being like so groggy and out of it.
oh yeah, oh
Like,
yeah. The drugs.
just give me some ibuprofen. I'll call it a day. And it was horrible, but I did it because
It did. At the end, though, the pain made you realize you were still alive and what was real and what wasn't.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it wasn't easy. That was the tub room was hard every day. Every day they're in there scrubbing you,
yeah,
and I mean that it's not nice.
yeah.
It's
It's not a gentle scrub. It's a
yeah,
scrub to the bone scrub
exactly.
too.
But the team that I had at Anschutz at the burn unit that treated me, they were amazing. They were awesome. I had two nurses that would talk me through it, and I remember hearing their voices in my head constantly. Marvin and Taylor, they would sit there and talk to me, and they were just so soothing to me. It made that it made it that much better,
Yeah,
with the nurses and stuff.
yeah, that's good.
The empathy that they showed. So
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, mine didn't show that much. They just scrubbed harder. I feel like that's all I remember. How do you tell your story to people? Like, if somebody comes up and they're really rude, do you tell them the real story, or do you make up stories for fun sometimes? Or, like sometimes I'll tell people I went into a burning house to save some kittens just to make myself sound like a
yeah,
hero.
yeah,
Yeah, do you ever
I've
do
done
that?
that. So I have my 2 cent story and I have my 10 cent story. The people that are rude about it or ask very rudely, they get the 2 cent story. Usually something I've made up, something stupid. Usually something to make them be like, I'm sorry I asked.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I ask how you got burned? Yeah, I didn't know that the candle wax she was dripping on my chest was flammable. And next thing you know, boom.
It's amazing.
From things like that to like, oh yeah, I was drunk one night and my buddies didn't think you got light your farts on fire. Well, guess what? You can. I even gone as far as being like, yeah, I tried going to church for the first time and walked
I've
in.
used that one a few times.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's always a good one.
but yeah, I just, because a lot of people, they don't deserve your full story. They don't deserve that full 10 cents,
Yeah.
especially depending on how they come onto it.
Yep.
Now, if it's a kid that asks, I'll give a kid my full 10-cent story because kids are curious, they're interested, and I could sit here and ask myself before I got burned, did I ever meet a burn survivor? I don't think I've ever seen one.
Yeah, no.
So why not educate them?
Yeah.
Because
And they're genuine too, you know.
exactly,
Usually. I've
exactly.
had a few that are really rude, and I'm like, nope, you don't get to know the story.
Yeah, yeah, and some can be rude, but those are the kids that aren't going to listen to you and not
Yeah.
take from it. You know, I try to educate kids because kids are curious. They want to play with fire. They want to do with things. Maybe this will stop them from doing it.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
it could happen anytime, from work to being in the car, or, you know, being at home or being at school, something. It could happen anytime. You just have to be careful and be smart about what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. What's like the rudest way someone has asked you how you have been burned?
Oh, when they sit there and they look at you up and down and they keep looking and turning and looking at you up and down, then they just finally walk up to you and like, that's what happened. I'm like, you could just ask before you were staring at me, telling the people next to you, and they were turning around looking at me. Like,
Yeah.
I've had rude people come up to me. I'm very blunt, so I will be a total hole, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't be nice about it. I won't. And some people, they're just not worth your 2 cents either.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So you don't say nothing. You just walk away from them and let their curious minds be whatever. And, but that was a lot more at the beginning. Now I'll tell anybody, even if they're rude with me, I'll be just as rude back.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'll make it uncomfortable for them.
Make it real weird.
Really weird. Oh yeah, very weird.
Make you wish you never asked.
Yeah, especially when I shake their hand and I tell them where the skin came from. You know, I think that was left butt cheek or right butt cheek. I don't know, but
it's on your hand now.
Yeah, you just touched it. High five.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Do you have like a favorite story to tell people? Like just one that comes off the dome when
The first time I went swimming, and it was just had my swim trunks on, and I was in the swimming pool, and there was a bunch of kids that had showed up for, like, I think there was like a daycare or something like that. And I just hear one girl, "Wow, what happened to you?" And I stopped and I go, "Huh?" And she goes, "Never mind." Nothing. I was like, "No, hon, you're curious. You can ask me." I was like, "Let me tell you what happened." And I sat down with them and I told them. And just the look on this kid's face, I could sit there and tell him that. But for her to come at me the way she was and then back off scared because I heard her, like,
yeah,
it's not the way to be.
Yeah, the eye contact happened and then they panic.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, then they panic.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Have you ever had anybody respond badly to like your stories or anything you have to say about it?
Maybe my jokes. I've made a few people cry. My mom's cried, you know.
Tell us that story if you'd like.
Well, sadly, I lost my little brother 3 months before my accident happened. Yeah, I lost him in a car accident on I-25. He's a tow truck driver for White. He was a Marine. He's honestly the only reason why I think I'm alive today is because he was in that room with me when the explosion happened. But I lost my little brother. Give me a second. Sorry. So I had lost my little brother before my accident, car accident. And honestly, I believe I survived because his guardian angel was there with me. He was a Marine. What better guardian angel to have than to have a Marine? So we buried my little brother before my accident happened. And the humor I have being very dark, I was talking to my mom and I'm like, just out of curiosity, would you guys have buried me or got the discount on the cremation for me? I laughed about it. That was my way of dealing with it, the grief and the trauma. And my mom cried. And I had explained to her, "Mom, I'm not trying to hurt you. It's my way of getting out of it." She's like, "I understand." It was just still a soft spot for her because she almost lost 2 of her boys in the same year. So
yeah, I could see that one being a little tough.
yeah, a little tough,
That's a rough one, yeah.
But I've also had other jokes that I tried to tell to people, like go to Texas Roadhouse, and manager always comes up, "Hey, how was your steak?" "Well, a lot like my arms, it was overcooked." And they don't get that.
They don't understand. Like, they're so lost.
If I'm joking about it and I'm laughing about it, please laugh with me. Please laugh with me. Don't make this awkward because I will make it even more awkward if you want to, okay?
Isn't that the worst when they don't laugh, though?
Exactly.
And they're just looking at you confused and it's like, I know you can see the burns.
Don't this happened to me, not you. Why are you so hurt? Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand that, Have you ever had people get like full on offended, though? Like I've told people a story and they're like fully mad at me that I told them a
Oh
different
yeah.
story. I'll
Oh
tell
yeah.
them the real story later, and they are pissed.
Oh yeah. I've had people. I'm like, well, how come you couldn't tell me the same thing? I didn't feel comfortable with you at the moment. I didn't want to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I said, 10-cent story, 2-cent story. You weren't worth my 2 cents. You
Yeah.
weren't worth my 10 cents. You probably weren't worth my full 2 cents either.
That's accurate.
Yep.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your relationship before the accident and then after the accident? It's with the same
Yes.
lady, correct?
So I met Kendra in January of 2018. I met her at her son's 3rd birthday party.
Oh, nice.
She had invited her friend who was just happened to invite me to bring my daughter over to Chuck E. Cheese. And that was the first time I had met Kendra. I met her, her mother, and her son. Um, and then it took off from there. About a month or 2 months later, we ended up getting together again and hanging out. And I instantly fell in love with this girl. Instantly fell in love with her to the point where I think we were 5 months or 3 months into our first relationship. We went and got matching tattoos.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And to meet her, she had 2 kids at the time. When she met me, I had 6 kids. When you're a single father with 6 kids, it's not easy to find somebody to not only take you, but everybody you have under your wing. I'm not going to say baggage because it's not baggage. And I instantly fell in love with her. And she had just come out of a traumatic accident. She was in a 160-mile-an-hour Hellcat accident before I met her.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I just got her neck brace removed and that kind of thing. You know, she went through that trauma and we're trauma bonded.
I was just gonna ask, is there
Yeah.
some trauma bonding there? It sounds
There's some
like
trauma bonding,
Yeah.
not just from her accident, from losing her mom. We had the trauma bond from that. And my accident, we're bonded and we're fused together like the bone on my pinky. You know, it ain't moving. She ain't moving. She ain't going nowhere. Either is this. So, yep.
Do you think the accident made the relationship stronger, better, closer?
The accident tested the waters.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not. Statistically, for survivors, the relationship thing is harder. Staying together, cheating happens, that kind of stuff. It's been hard, but we're still kicking. We're still working together. I proposed to her on my anniversary 2 years ago
Oh, that's so cool.
because I didn't want my anniversary just to be that. I wanted it to be the day that I asked her to be my wife because of everything she put up with for me.
Yeah.
This girl held down the fort while I didn't work for these years and we're waiting on my case and, you know, taking the kids to school when I couldn't do things physically. Like she held down the fort. She did all that.
Yeah.
She, you know, worked more overtime just to keep a roof over our head and my kids' head. She didn't have to do that for my kids, but she did.
That's cool.
And still to this day, we're, you know, like I tell her, I'm the hottest guy that you'll ever be with. You cannot replace that.
You cannot replace that.
Yes.
And so was it weird? You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. Maybe it's too far, but was it weird being physical after having your burns since it's like kind of sensitive, or do you have sensation on your burns still or not so much?
Not sensation, not so much. No.
So was
There's a
it
shot, that kind of thing.
kind of strange going to that after?
Let's just put it this way. Part of my occupational therapy while I was in the hospital, like, what do you want to do? My hand was stuck like this. I couldn't open it. I couldn't even hold a pop can. Like, what do you want to do? I was like, I'm right-handed. I want to grab her butt.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's all I want to do. I just want to grab that booty. That's what I want to be able to do.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
good motivation right there.
Yeah, and that was a heck of a motivation for me to
Yeah.
push and go towards that. And
Yeah.
she was scared to touch me. So, you know, I do peer support with the Phoenix Bird Society when I'm telling people, hey, set the boundaries, talk to each other.
Mhm.
Let her know that if you're going to hurt, you'll tell her. You tell him if you're going to hurt. You know, you guys have to communicate. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
I know she was scared at first. And she kept telling her best friend, he wants, and her best friend's like, just do it already.
Yeah, just do it. It's fine.
Yeah. And, you know, here's a story about this. I was supposed to be in the hospital for 8 to 9 months for my treatment. When they told me that, I could not believe it. So June 2nd, 2021, they didn't expect me to be out till past January of 2022. So Kendra was like, well, this is probably a good time to go get the birth control removed from my arm. I made it out of that hospital in 120 days. I spent 104 days in the ICU unit, and I spent 16 days on the 8th floor in rehab.
Wow.
And I got to go home on October 2nd. And we found out December 21 that we were pregnant.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's
that
cool.
was the biggest blessing. So don't be scared. You know.
Yeah.
like I said, set the boundaries and talk with each other. It's all about communication,
Yeah,
as any relationship is, especially when it comes to something as traumatic as this. It's all about communication.
for sure. Yeah. Do you celebrate, or did you celebrate your burn anniversary before celebrating it as a proposal day now? Like, did you ever do anything big, or was it like a happy day for you or a sad day for you?
I think a lot of people will feel me on this one. The first one is always the hardest. The first one is that's the anniversary. It's that 1 year, 365 days since, and it hits you hard because you look back to the past of who you were before that accident, and it could tear you down.
Yeah.
But mentally, you have to blot that out and tell yourself, on this day that I got burned, I was reborn. You know, something I had to see the progress from the day I got burned, not who I was before.
Yeah.
And so that first one was really hard on my burn anniversary, but we did celebrate. We did go out to eat. I think that first time we went to Rodizio Grill.
Nice.
The second year, I stepped it up and we went to the, what do they call it? Where they like do the volcano in
Oh,
front of
like
you.
the
Hibachi.
hibachi.
I
Yeah.
went and did hibachi because I wanted to face that fear.
Heck yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
one thing I always said is, I'm not going to let this injury make who I am.
Exactly.
I'm not going to be its bitch. I'm going to make this fire my bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
for
what I
sure.
did.
Yeah. So I take it you're not scared of fire or anything now? Do you have
No,
any?
it's taken every bit of this time to take baby steps and work towards, you know, not being a burn victim. I hate being called that. I'm a survivor.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be able to face everything that happened. You know, my accident was propane based. It was a 30-pound propane tank that had leaked in that room and exploded. I can jump on a grill now, no problem. You know, I'll take the propane tank and go fill it and have it with me in the car. Like it the third year is what it took me to start doing that. I took baby steps on the grill.
Yeah.
Started with like fish and then chicken and moved my way up to steaks and hamburgers where you get a lot of the grease flame
More
back.
fire.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't want to be out of the kitchen. I like to cook for the kids and that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I didn't want fire to scare me. I want to be able to go camping and start a fire and do marshmallows and s'mores. And
Yeah.
like I said, I didn't want to be that victim. Like I said, we're survivors for a reason.
Yeah.
If you're a victim, it's your mindset, you know. But people outside of this stuff, we're not. We're not
Survivors all the way.
survivors. Always burn
I
survivors.
always try to educate people on that, and then it's
Yes.
funny because like 2 minutes later they'll say it again, and it's like, I
I
just
just
asked
told
you to
you.
not say that.
Yeah.
Why are you still saying that? It's so weird. How do you not get that out of your head?
But that's why I show them that I'm a survivor. You know, that's why I carry myself the way I do. I
Yeah.
tried to carry myself the way I do because of I'm a survivor.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Do you notice? So I think I kind of already asked you this a little bit earlier, but do you really notice like day-to-day changes from prior to now, other than like not being able to sweat a lot? But I mean, you have like full mobility and stuff in your hands, it looks like, or for the most part?
Most of the mobility back in my hands. What stinks about it is the loss of feeling I have
Mm,
from like the grafting and stuff.
yeah.
With my right hand, I have to see what I'm grabbing, or I'm like, am I really touching that, or what is that? I'll be reaching on my seat thinking I'm grabbing, you know, an M&M I dropped, and I'm pulling up like something totally different. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's not an M&M. What
You're
the heck
like,
is that?
that's not what I thought.
Yeah, but that's a hard question to ask because I've taken from the day I got burned as my new day of being reborn for everything I can now.
Yeah.
I don't try to fixate on who I was before. There's a lot of things I can do now that I wasn't able to do 2 years ago. So it's all about time.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell every survivor, it's all about time. It's taken me 5 years, but what's taken me 5 years might take somebody else 2 years. Especially the kids I see get burned, the resilience they show.
Mhm.
But somebody older than me, it might take them 6, 7, 8, or a decade, you know, to feel somebody different or feel the same or, you know, get past that.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I try to tell survivors. Everybody works at their own pace. And also do not like burn survivors comparing burns. Have you ever had anybody do that with you?
Yeah, it's typically people who've been burned by like a curling iron right here or here, not like
Okay.
a real burn survivor like us.
Yeah.
It's usually someone like that, and that is infuriating.
Yes. That part is infuriating, but I also don't like if you're treated in a burn unit, I don't care if it's 10% burn, 20% burn, you're burned. You
Yeah.
went through a pain. You felt where you are. Don't compare your burns when you come into this community.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
a community for a reason, not to compare what's happened to this and that.
Yeah.
We're here to, lift each other up and push each other over the finish line to the next stepping stone is what we
Yeah.
need. So,
Yeah. So tell us about the clinic and what kind of stuff you do there and how you got involved in that and helping out.
so like I've mentioned before, my team at Anschutz at the burn clinic in Aurora was amazing. They were awesome. The resources I had, there's a lot of them I didn't want anything to do with while I was in the hospital. It wasn't until I got out of the hospital I realized, hey, maybe these resources are something I need. It started with peer support group, with just the hospital there with the group that they had. And I remember being in the hospital, I had two survivors come talk to me. And I was like, what is this program? It's called the SOAR program. So survivors offering assistance in recovery. I had two awesome survivors, Dave Rep and Shannon, come talk to me in my room um, about their injuries. Dave was over 90% from a helicopter. Shannon was over 80% from an oil accident out in Wyoming. She would worked in the
Oh,
oil
wow.
field. And I remember them coming to talk to me. And when I started doing the support group, it just started falling into place. And then learning about the Phoenix Burn Society and that they train peer supporters and they like for you to be a year out. And like I said, I was trying to find my repurpose in life again. And I had to start over from the day I got burned. And I've always been a good talker. I've always been good about communicating with people. And this was spoken to me, like to my heart, that this is something I needed to do.
Yeah.
And so I pursued it and got in with the Phoenix Burn Society and got trained to them as a peer supporter. I do it very often, very, very often over at Anschutz, which it's more healing to me as a survivor.
Yeah.
I know I'm helping them, but they don't realize how much more they're helping me
Mm.
because they've made it easier since the beginning to tell my story. Tell my story at the beginning was full of tears, pause, take forever to tell my story. And now I'll sit here and tell it with a smile on my face because it's
Yeah.
that much easier because of everybody I've had to help out with it.
Yeah. That's
And
awesome.
with the burn community, there's burns from grease, from lightning, from being a linesman to explosions to car accidents, gas, propane, all these other things. Somebody's going to connect with you.
Hmm.
Somebody. You're not alone as a survivor. There's somebody out there that has a story to share with you that you guys could uplift each other. And I say this as pun intended when I go to do my peer supporters. I'm here to light a fire under your ass to keep you going.
Do they all like that answer or not so much?
You know, the cool thing about peer support is they put you with somebody that they know that you're gonna
I'm gonna vibe with a little
vibe
bit.
with.
Oh, that's good then.
And
Yeah.
I vibe really well with the kids that are younger, like 18 and coming up, because they get my humor.
Yeah.
They want to see that humor. You don't beat around the bush. I'm very blunt and I'm realistic. I'm really
Yeah.
realistic about it. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, it's not easy, dude. That sucks. This is hard. That hurts. But guess what? Where I'm at now, I remember that pain, but don't remember that pain. It's hard to explain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
get you.
Your
Yeah.
brain does amazing things for you to get past
Tries
that.
to block
So,
it all out. Yeah.
yeah.
It doesn't want to remember any of it. I don't think we talked about pressure garments a whole lot. Can you tell us about your experience with those and
Hate them.
how many did you go through or
I had, I believe, 4 suits made for me, and I did not wear them like I should have. I think I lasted a week with one of the longest, and that was it.
yeah, you
The
had full legs, full pants,
I had
socks, all?
full legs that went up with suspenders that went over the
Oh,
full shirt and sleeves and gloves. And that was it. And trying to put it on at first, it's very hard because you're weak and you're trying to push through this tight garment and stuff. But the 1 week I did wear it, wow, I was so flat. I
yeah, it
loved
helped a
it.
lot.
Like,
Yeah.
if you guys can wear them, do it. Don't do what I did, but it was hard for me. Being a big guy, being hot all the time too, and then the body temperature regulation. I didn't want it. I wanted to be comfortable.
Yeah.
I wish I would have, but I didn't. I was not
Yeah.
one of those good patients like that,
That's one of
unfortunately.
my biggest regrets too. I wish I would have been a good kid and wore mine like I was supposed to, but
I did too, but you know what? I love my texture.
yeah,
For a guy
it
that
came
used to
out.
do drywall, I love my texture.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, looks good. Adds character,
it
It's
does.
great.
It's all right. And she'll know it's me if she grabs my arm in the dark,
There
not
you
somebody
go.
else,
Yes,
so.
I feel what is it? I always used to call my mesh my chessboard. For the
Yeah.
longest time, I wanted to get like metal plate put under there and little chess pieces on it. So I'm like, it looks, the meth.
I told her I wish I could rub my legs together and make a noise like a cricket does with this,
Oh, that'd be so cool, wouldn't
these
it?
ridges I got, something.
Man,
I'm
we could
definitely
only
not going to
hope.
be a pole dancer because the grip these things have on metal. So,
I'd throw $1 bills at you for sure.
hey, I take quarters, whatever it is. Throw the change,
Throw the change.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Do you plan on getting tattoos on your burns at some point?
I do want to get tattoos. I am looking for the right tattoo artist that can do the right things for me.
Yeah. You
My
tell us about
tattoos
your
are going
other
to be
ones.
very dark. I do have one tattoo I got that's on my leg here that's on my donor site. It's brush, like brush firefighters when they put out like the field fires and stuff. I have them tattooed on my leg right along my burn line where I stopped getting burned. So I tell them, yeah, look at my firefighters that saved my leg.
They're putting out the
They're putting
fire.
out the fire. That's what it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I do have a future of getting tattoos. I want to do more on my arms. I miss my tattoos. They're not as permanent as you think they are.
Yeah, tell us about that. How many you had prior?
Oh, I probably had about 12 to 15 tattoos before I got burned. That I only have 2 that are left on my chest that are heavily faded because they took skin from those. And actually, I have part of the coloring here and like on my leg from the tattoos. I'm a big puzzle piece. I can actually see where my pieces are because of
Just
the
move them
colors.
around. I knew a guy that he had to have a skin graft here, and they took part of his tattoo, and it's his mustache.
Oh,
On like
man.
one side, it's like a little black line, and then the other side's hair. It's kind of great looking, actually. It's pretty cool.
I would just tattoo a full on mustache with the curls.
Yeah,
and just shave
honestly,
it,
he should have. I don't know what the
embrace it.
theory behind it was, but hey, they went for it, and it worked out. So
I still want to get Casey Kelso from that 70s show on my back. I have a little spot about this big that's not burned on my back. I want to get a portrait of him pointing at my back saying, burn.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it's part of my humor, and that's how I healed from this, And my humor will help other people heal too.
So I'm assuming humor's like your biggest outlet.
Oh, it's my biggest outlet for
to
this.
get
It has
through
been.
everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it has been from the hospital. From the moment I got burned, I didn't say this
Tell
part.
us that story.
My dark humor is so dark. When I was burned, like I said, I had to walk 75 yards to the ambulance. The first thing I told the paramedics, which if you guys ever see this and you're out there, reach out to me because the looks on your faces. I'm sitting there with my arms like this, and I'm pouring like a faucet from my hands because when burns blister, the liquid that comes with it. I'm literally pouring like a faucet. And I look at them, I go, man, I guess Mexicans really don't smell like burnt beans, do they? And the look on their faces was terrified. I was in shock.
They didn't laugh?
They didn't laugh. They didn't. But they also, I think I was the first burn patient they'd taken care of because they're like, we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They tossed me a silver blanket, and I'm like, isn't this for like before the
Yeah, I
fire?
feel
Like, I
that's
don't know how that
opposite there.
works. Yeah, like they gave it to me. I didn't know. I was just responding how I thought in my head. That's all I was thinking at the time.
Yeah.
My humor continued all the way through the hospital from coming out of the tub room. And it was the day after Labor Day. You're not supposed to wear white after Labor Day. Well, why is all the gauze white? I asked them, and I was like, do you guys have any colored gauze? Or like, why? And I'm like, it's after Labor Day. I don't want to be caught wearing white, Even though I'm in there burning it, I don't care. I'm still trying to take care of myself. Like, that's just how my humor worked. It got me through a lot with them. And nurses have a very dark humor. That's what helps them get through their stuff.
Yeah.
I think joking with the nurses like that makes them a lot easier too, working with you. So that it was amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure you were the favorite. They're probably like, yes, we get to go hang out with Andrew today.
Some of them didn't like me because I was very blunt with them and didn't like them and just be gone.
You can't win them all,
No, you can't.
But you can try.
Yep.
Let's see. I got one more question because everybody asks it, and I feel like I already know what your answer is going to be. But if you had a choice to not be burned, if you could prevent it, would you have prevented from being burned or no?
For the path that it's taken me on now and where it's taken me, no. I don't regret this.
That's what
I don't regret this.
Yeah.
I used to have survivor's remorse and remorse. Why did this happen to me? It takes time to find that love in yourself again. It's not the next day. It's not the next year. It's not third year. For me, it took every bit of where I'm at today, coming up on my 5 years, to love myself and love my burns and love everything about it, because I love the community. I love the Phoenix Burn Society, Rural Burn Congress. I love what the hospital does for us. I love what the the Washington D.C. Burn Foundation does for their firefighters, and the firefighters I met through that, and just the family I've met, everybody I've met. My boy Flip, my boy Riley, my boy Nate. Everybody I've met in my family is just amazing. I love them, and I'm glad it's not the community I wanted to be part of, but I'm glad I'm part of this family.
Yeah, we always joke it's not the group you want to be a part of until you're a part of it, and then you
Yeah,
love it,
exactly,
and you're like, oh,
exactly.
these people are great.
They are. It's the amazing people I've met, and it's awesome. The kids are even better. The kids I've met through this, they're so resilient. They make you feel like you're weak or something like that. And I'm like, my first real burn, I ran into a 14-year-old girl. Her name was Cody, and she was 9 months out from her accident. And she was running around there like a kid at prom. She was so happy. And I just got to see her at Real Burn again like 4 months ago, and she's still
Nice.
so lively and happy. And the way she carries herself is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
that's, if you're a parent of a kid that's, a survivor, the resilience they show is amazing. Like, know that.
Yeah.
The strength that they have in them is awesome. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But I've also seen the resilience come from people older than me too. So,
Yeah.
but I do not regret this. This was planned. This was somebody's plan, and I'm on that path now, and I'll take it.
Yeah. I feel the same way.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like not glad it happened, but yeah, it's opened a lot of doors. I've got to travel and meet so many amazing people and go to World Burn and stuff like that. And the stories you hear from there too is
Yep.
just amazing.
And I'm glad it did happen to me, because like I said, I'm glad it didn't happen to any of my other coworkers.
Yeah.
I lost one of the coworkers to COVID shortly after my accident happened. So could have been something more traumatic, worse. I'm glad it was me, nobody else.
Yeah. All right, Andrew, thanks for coming to visit us at the Honey House Entertainment Studio, and we'll have you out for part 2. Thanks for listening. This is the Crispy Ginger with Life in Many Colors.